Hello, this is Jace Fugate with another session of the Introduction to the Go Programming Language course. So today we're going to be talking about switch statements. And in the next few sessions, we're also going to be talking about different ways that you can use a switch statement. So this first type here is just your standard switch statement. This is going to be a control flow similar to an if, else statement. And so you have the keyword switch, a space, and then you have some kind of expression. Here we're just using a single variable. You then have curly braces to say here's a code block. And inside this code block you have some cases. And so you have your first case, and here we're saying if day of week equals 1, run this. If it equals 1, it will run this. And just like in a if, else if, it will skip everything else and jump to the bottom. If we have another case, well, if this is equal to 2, then run this. And it just continues to go through. If it's 3, if it's 4, if it's 5, if it's 6, if it's 7. And then we have a default here. And this is similar to the else statement. If nothing else evaluates, then it will run this default. You do not have to have a default. And also, you don't have to have these in order. We have these in order, just the way I wrote it as I went through. And as well, you can use any type of variable. You don't have to use numbers. You can also turn all of these into a string. And now it'll just check to say, hey, does this variable equal the string 1. It's type safe, so if you were to try to say, hey, does this string equal a number, it will just yell at you and say, hey, you can't do that. This untyped int, it's untyped int and a string, not the same thing. So let's go ahead and run this. You notice that it says Saturday, weekend, yay. Because 6 goes with this case, runs this code block. You'll notice here that we have some curly braces here. These are optional. You do not have to have these. We just want to put them in there to show you that you can have them if you want to have them, but they're not necessary. You could put curly braces around this statement as well if you wanted, but you don't need it. If I run this, it'll run just fine. We can go up here and we can change this to 1 and it'll say it's Monday. And if we change this to 10, it'll say invalid day. That's because it doesn't equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or 7. And it hits that default and it just runs the default case. Again, we don't have to have this default case. If I were to run this now, I'm going to clear. If I were to run this, nothing would print out because none of these cases would be true. And it would just skip it, basically. So there you have it. This is the basic usage of a case or a switch statement with cases. Very similar to an if, else, if chain. It is just a lot clearer. Most people will agree. Not everyone will. I agree. I think this is a lot clearer than having an else if and say, if day of week equals 1, do this. Else if day of week equals 2. It's also less typing. You don't have to type day of week so many times. And if I remember correctly, the compiler will actually optimize this and it will be a little bit faster. Little bit. It's probably marginal. I could be corrected on that though. So thank you very much for being here. On your own time, practice this and get comfortable with it. And in the next session, we're going to be talking about some of the other ways that you can use switch statements. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you again.